This episode is brought to you by Audi. The road is calling. Embrace the thrill of the drive with the all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. Featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi tech. It's not just a new EV. It's a new way to experience driving. The all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron is here. The next chapter of Audi starts now.
This is More Money with economist Steve Moore. Now, Steve Moore.
Welcome back, folks. This is the More Money Show. This is our third hour. We had to do the last hour of the Kudlow Show because Larry was a little under the weather today. He'll be back next week for his show, Larry Kudlow Show. So for 3 hours, I don't know if John Catsimatidis, the owner of this station, will pay me some overtime for a little extra time today on a Saturday afternoon, but we're having a lot of fun. I hope you're learning. And the message I want you all to walk away from after you've listened to this show, and I hope you stick with us till the top of the hour, is don't take the leap. I know we're all on the edge. We lost a lot of money in the last couple of weeks, but it's going to come back. EJ Antoni, you're one of the top economists in the country. You work at the Heritage Foundation. You work with me at Unleash Prosperity. I'm trying to talk people off the ledge. What do you say, EJ?
Steve, I'm with you 100% here. I mean, look, it's not surprising that you do have periods of profit taking, right? And if we give this some context here, you can look at just in 2023, we had a similar correction in the market in terms of the percentage change in the major indices, right? So this whole idea that every time you see these big fluctuations that people need to get out, this is why retail investors usually get crushed. They panic when things go down, and it's not until the market has already rallied that they decide to buy back in. If you just dollar cost average, you buy a little bit over time, you're gonna be just fine.
Well, EJ, you're so right. I mean, this is basically a violation of the first rule of investing, which is buy low, sell high, and too many. And look, I'm guilty of this sometimes myself. I panic and I got to sell because the knife is falling. But EJ, people are concerned about the tariffs. Tariffs are bad for markets. Do you see and I've been predicting on this show, and I'd like your reaction to this. And then, John, I want to get you into the discussion. I think Trump's going to be triumphant here. I think there will be a deal. And my sense is that when they get that deal, whether it's next week or next month, the market's going to pop right back.
Well, exactly. So if tariffs are really the reason why the market has been really taking it on the chin the last few days, then you're absolutely right. As soon as we get a resolution to tariffs, the market's going to bounce right back. And that's where all the poor retail investors that have bailed on the market are going to get hosed, because now the market will fly back up before they have a chance to get back in. And just to reemphasize the fact that Trump is so likely to be victorious, like you said, on tariffs, every time he has really tried to go to the mat with one of these other countries, they've given in every time.
They blink.
And so
they blink.
Exactly, Steve. You're spot on. They blink.
Okay. Well, good points, EJ. I'm with you 100% on that. I think you've got the story exactly right. So, folks, you can come in, open the window, come off the ledge, and you can sit down and relax. And look, I'm not saying, I don't think any of us are saying that the sell-off is over. It may last another week or two or three, but you don't want to sell in a falling market. Now, John Fund, I'm going to change directions a little bit. Rosie O'Donnell, she's no longer an American citizen. Is she off in Ireland now? What's going on with that?
Well, after Trump won his first term in 2016, a lot of celebrities said, hasta la vista, I'm out of here. Most of them were bluffing.
They lied. They didn't leave.
But apparently this time, a few actually are doing it. And by the way, they have personalities that frankly mean we won't miss them. I mean, Ellen DeGeneres and Rosie O'Donnell are two of the nastiest people who've ever worked in Hollywood.
Well, did you see in our hotline, we had an item where a humor item that Ireland is going to charge us 150% tariff on all our goods unless we take Rosie back.
Well, Alec Baldwin also was going to leave, but unfortunately I think he had some legal issues that kept him stateside, but he may leave, and he's not particularly a nice person, and you can sort of talk to the people on his latest movie set about that.
So, John, on a more serious point, you know about these NGOs, right? Have you been following the story about the non-governmental organizations and how much money these people are making?
Yes.
I think you've been following this story because you've been writing about it. And I was telling our listeners jokingly that maybe we'll turn in Unleash Prosperity into an NGO so we can make a lot of money. But this seems like one of the biggest scams in Washington. It sounds like it's just a big revolving door where people work in government, then they leave, they start an NGO, they get the money from the agencies, and it's just, back and forth. It doesn't benefit anybody but themselves.
Eisenhower warned about the military-industrial complex. He also warned about the university-industrial complex. The biggest problem in our politics, and the biggest change in our politics since I started writing 40 years ago, is we now have a political industrial complex.
Yes, we do.
People use government money and their government connections to basically do very, very well while not doing well for the rest of us. And
That's right.
think that this is one of the inevitable outcomes of having such a big government. There's so much money sloshing around, people think, I'll grab what I can because the controls, the audits, everything else are pathetic. Look, the Pentagon hasn't passed an audit in 7 years. We know there's an enormous amount of waste there, and we don't even know how big it is. We don't even know where to find it.
So it's true, and it becomes what's the old? And I say it all the time. Washington place people come to do good, and they end up doing well. And I know a lot of people in that. That's why we call it the swamp. So EJ, one of my concerns is that with respect to the budget, DOJ has found that there's $125 billion a year in fraud in the Medicaid program. I think you're aware of that because I know you've written about this. $125 billion a year. Now, why can't we? Now, if Republicans said what they said in their budget is instead of allowing Medicaid to go up by 6% next year, we're going to only allow it to go up by 3%, which is still way too much. And the Democrats are saying that's a cut.
Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
This episode is brought to you by Prime Video. In the small town of Holland, Michigan, nothing is ever what it seems. Behind the tulip festivals and pretty houses lay dark secrets that threaten to tear a marriage apart. Nicole Kidman stars in this darkly twisted thriller about a wife and mother whose quest to uncover her husband's secrets may get her more than she bargained for. Holland, streaming on Prime Video, March 27th.
Are your ulcerative colitis symptoms proving difficult to manage? Tremfya guselkumab can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. At 1 year, many patients taking Tremfya achieved clinical remission, and some patients also achieved endoscopic remission. Individual results may vary. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor if Tremfya can help you manage the cycle of UC symptoms. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Hey, Fidelity. How can I remember to invest every month?
With the Fidelity app, you can choose a schedule and set up recurring investments in stocks and ETFs.
Oh, that sounds easier than I thought.
You got this.
Yeah, I do. Now, where did I put my keys?
You will find them where you left them.
Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
I mean, it's so ironic, Steve, because if you actually get rid of the corruption, the abuses in these systems, it will reduce, obviously, improper payments from Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, right? And the reason that's so good is because it actually prolongs the solvency of these different trust funds. In other words, it ensures there will be money for legitimate beneficiaries, who are the people that Democrats allegedly are trying to protect. So, again, it's so ironic here because what the Democrats are pushing for is going to speed up the insolvency of these programs and is going to make it so that the checks essentially will stop going out sooner rather than later. Republicans are trying to ensure there's still enough money left to make sure that legitimate beneficiaries can get their checks.
I know. You'd think they would want to save the programs, but they want them to go bankrupt. John Fund, you are from California, I believe, and you know a lot about California politics, but you got to explain this one to me, John. California this year is expected to get over $100 billion of Medicaid payments from the federal government. $100 billion, not million. And John, what they're doing is they're balancing their budget with Medicaid dollars. They're signing up everybody they can, every illegal immigrant, every next door neighbor, anybody. They want everybody out of Medicaid because they get 90 cents out of every dollar that's spent on it. It's the biggest fraud I've ever seen. These people should be in jail.
No, it's not the biggest fraud you've ever seen. The biggest fraud you ever saw was in California's unemployment benefit system during the pandemic, where $25 billion went to people who were in prison in Nigeria and operating from their prison cell, from people who had never lived in California. I mean, California is they call it the Golden State for a reason. It's gold if you want to try to steal from it.
Yeah, no, EJ, you're an economist. You're one of the top economists in the country. Here's the problem I have with this. Now, when Medicaid was started, it was 50 cents. Every 50 cents every dollar was paid by the state and 50 cents went to the federal government. And then under Obamacare, they changed it to 90 cents comes from the federal government, 10 cents comes from the state. So the states have an incentive to waste money.
Exactly, Stephen. And this is one of the big problems with so many of these different programs that are paid for at the federal level, but actually operated, instituted, et cetera, at the state level. And, John brings up a great point with the unemployment fraud that happened in California. You have so many of these programs where it's actually illegal for California to enroll illegals, to pay illegals, except California has been flaunting the rules. And unfortunately, during the Biden administration, the entire DOJ and the Department of Labor, et cetera, they all purposely turned a blind eye to it. So the corruption just got bigger and bigger. It's time, I think, for the Trump administration to really crack down on all of it.
So, John Fund,
what's even worse about the Medicaid issue is this. It's substandard. Medicaid is substandard medicine.
It is.
No private insurance company would get away with trying to offer it. The irony is, we by one vote during the first Trump term, we almost passed through Congress a reform program which would have taken Medicaid, block granted it, meaning the money would have gone back to the states. You could have had experiments. You would have had experiments. There would have been states that would have found a much better way to help poor people and disabled people with their Medicaid. And these kind of experiments would have been replicated in other states because they save money and they improve health care outcomes. The irony is we're hurting the poor, we're hurting the disabled.
I know.
We're hurting people who lack medical insurance by not reforming the program.
So, John, we got literally about 2.5 minutes left. John, very quickly, is Andrew Cuomo going to be the next mayor of New York?
Well, the old saying, consider the alternatives.
I mean, I can't believe it. This is a guy who killed hundreds and hundreds of people in the nursing homes.
Well, he had his own solution to health care spending problems, which is if you kill people, you don't have to pay for anything more.
Unbelievable. So, EJ, in our last minute left, why is it that the left hates Doge? Why do they hate Elon Musk? Why won't they buy Teslas? I mean, if you believe in big government, shouldn't you believe in good government?
Well, maybe that's because that's not what they believe in. They don't believe in good government. They just want bigger government. Bigger government means more control for them, and it turns out that's really what they've been about this entire time.
Yeah, and I think I would just add to that, EJ. I think it circles back to what we were talking about a few minutes ago. They also get rich off of it. They want the government to waste money because that's how they get rich.
Right. USAID has basically been a money laundering scheme for them, and now it's going goodbye. So, of course, they're furious.
Yeah. Well, folks, John and EJ, you two are the best. John Fund from Unleash Prosperity and National Review, and EJ Antoni from Heritage Foundation. Thanks, guys, very much. Folks, we'll be right back. We'll be taking your calls. 1-800-848-9222 is the More Money hotline.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger. Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.